Hi, I'm back to talk about this week's podcast of your roadmap to retirement. Now, many of us wonder, when do you actually start this roadmap to retirement? But believe it or not, your journey actually begins right around the time that you have your first job that you're actually contributing to a 403B or even a 401k. Now, this could be right after high school, it could be after college, but anytime you start to do that, you're actually designing your roadmap to retirement, because any money that you're setting aside for your future is your retirement timeline of the income you're going to be receiving when you actually do retire. So I want to make sure that you put just as much responsibility on yourself as you do being good stewards about what are we doing with your income that you're earning week after week in your career and your job focus, as to what you're doing to prepare alongside of what's going to happen when you retire. It really can be considered the same amount of funds that need to be coming in, but how are we stewarding and getting to that position is all the ways that we're going to walk through today of this journey. Sometimes the game of life. So a roadmap is the journey that we're on to get there. It's not just like, let's set one plan, set up some funds, use it and forget. We need to actually implement a strategy, walk through that. So part of the design and what we call our focus process is really looking at current income, current expenses, and our budget. If you don't have one, we help you design that. It might also be walking alongside you and taking a look at It might also be us walking alongside you and talking about, do you have a mortgage? Is there credit card bills, other debt loads? So we can take a look at what is the interest on there? How do we help you to pay off those debts, college debt? So many folks start their journey and they feel like, gosh, I already feel behind. How do we actually look at this? So we design a written income plan. We look at your budget and analysis. And with that, that's then how we design what type of vehicles and funds do you have inside that house of the walls you put up. So that's where then we look at dollar cost averaging, what type of funds you should have in, how accounts should be diversified. And then depending on market volatility, the age that you are and the type of accounts are how adjustments are going along this long winding track to and through retirement. So many people, and actually a lot of people are really good at saving money. They're just not sometimes saving in the right vehicle or asset class. So if you're saving and just putting it in the bank or even money market, you're not hedging inflation or keeping up with cost of living. On the flip side, if you're saving everything in a pre-tax retirement account and kicking the can down the road till sometime in the future, you're going to have a big nest egg that the IRS is going to say, thank you for paying a big amount of tax every time you draw from that account. It's very strategic of where is the money being placed, how is it being allocated, and then what type of accounts do we want to utilize? We still need some short-term liquid investment funds for you. We also need that long-term. What are we looking for retirement timeline? Maybe even a travel fund. So we need to allocate different positions for you for different timelines to make sure that's well balanced. And then when it comes to actually drawing the funds, we set up a withdrawal order of a particular style and approach. So that way then we know about longevity in your portfolio. How are you going to pay for health insurance and healthcare as we're all living longer with advancements in healthcare? And I know you're all taking better care of your body. And as well as that, we also have to take a look at taxes. So taxes are a huge lens in retirement to make sure of every dollar that you earned and saved or that are spending, not all of that dollar is going back to you for usage. You do have to pay the IRS, so it all depends on the timeline, the adjustments, and the long-term strategy. Retirement planning is for sure not just about money. We need to realize that money is a tool to help enable you to do the things that you need or want to do, but it is not what it's about. It's much more about your why. What are the reasonings that you're looking at? Are we taking a look at changes to your lifestyle because of health? Is it now time for you that you've saved enough, you're going into your next chapter of life, that you're going to travel and boat and golf and garden and spend time with grandkids? Is it going to be a timeline for you to just pause and say, you know what, now I'm in charge of my own destiny. I'm going to create my next chapter and on my own timeline. So it's much more than about the money. The money is just a tool to help walk you through it. It's much more about what inspires you, what are your goals, and how do you want to spend, the next steps of 30 years plus of your life. We need to make sure that in the initial part of the focus, we have 3 school-age children. So when folks come in and meet with us, They actually bring a list of items that they want reviewed. Then we have some homework to do. Take a look at where's their current situation right now. How are the accounts performing? What's changed? When did they last make adjustments to it? Do they have homes, real estate, farmland? What do we need to take a look at long-term for their portfolio? And what is their timeline? Some people are wanting to know when to turn on Social Security for a key income portion of their portfolio. Others are going to retire with pensions. So we need to look at that. And ideally, are our clients and our families we're serving looking to spend all of their money in retirement? Do they want to leave a legacy? Do they want to make sure things go to church and charity? So that focus process is so important, especially initially, to really design a plan to get to know what's important to the people that we're serving. Then we walk alongside, we come back together, we do an analysis. Sometimes that's an income report, sometimes it's a big retirement tax bill. And when we take a look at that, we need to make sure, I'm a person who likes to write notes and have things documented, so the folks we serve then can have this report based on their own timeline. We can help them onboard accounts and start walking through with them, and nice tools to utilize, the layouts, utilizing a nicer process here, and being able to look on a good digital system of, gosh, what does my situation look like? We can alter and adjust that with them. Do they want to look at retiring sooner? What happens in their portfolio on the timeline if we do that? What about if they have a second home, a cottage, downgrade, or a new vehicle is needed? So this all walks through how are we utilizing focus to implement taxes in healthcare and longevity throughout that retirement roadmap.
So it sounds like people should start planning early for retirement. So when is it that they should start, or how early could someone start?
Someone can start as early as being a few weeks old. And I say that because if parents or grandparents aren't helping to instill a good pattern, we all, sometimes are a creature of habit. So what we're taught and what we learn is really a pathway we go on. So a lot of times for even infants, an initial journey can start with their parents putting together a college fund, a savings fund, a life investment plan. So really the younger you are, the better. And then as soon as they're old enough to have almost that 3 piggy bank approach of some coins or dollars to save, to spend, and to give, as you start teaching them young, which we did with all 3 of our daughters, it then enables them to teach them, well, what do we want to put away for a college fund? What are we saving? Are we gaining some income by having a job or going and reporting to work? And then what are they giving back to the community? How are they involved? So I think as early as possible, and then age appropriate, as we continue to get more years young, I call it, and then it's really taking a look at allocation mixtures. I like clients and folks to really read a lot of books. So there's really some nice books when you're young. The Latte Factor is an amazing book to start with. It really teaches folks to pay yourself the first hour of every day that you work. And that first hour is the money that you're saving away for your financial future. So whatever your income platform is for 1 hour a day, put that away each and every day into your retirement. And it's a wonderful starting point to design a plan and then have it mapped out, reviewed, and continue to walk along the journey. So many times people forget to factor in, number one, increased inflation, the cost of healthcare. A lot of folks work for a corporation or a place of business that they're not paying the entire cost of healthcare. So they have that added expense they're not looking to spend inside of retirement. Also with the increased cost of healthcare and the major increase in inflation and cost of living adjustments. So things are just costing more, perpetual into the future. And then all of a sudden they think, well, I'm retiring, I have X amount of dollars, I'll just use the old 4% rule of withdrawal strategies. Well, 4% is even hedging inflation right now. And with Medicare advancements and Medicare cost of living is higher than that. We've seen healthcare be a little bit over 7% currently. So it's just not hedging those costs. Plus, the minute you start drawing from those savings and investments, most people have done so pre-tax. So they forget 12, 15, 20% is not yours to keep that's going to the IRS. Those are probably the 3 most areas that we see people overlook that retirement journey because you haven't done it before. And so that's why we like to help walk alongside. So if you're listening, I think it'd be really wise for you to get a copy of our retirement income checklist. Please reach out, contact us. We'd be happy to get that to you. Putting pen to paper and starting to think about some things that you already feel very confident in and others we might be able to walk alongside and help you through this journey. I think for everyone, it depends on your current situation. Probably number one is you're planning to look to retire. Education is key. I think if you're a book reader, then it's going to be the book I authored titled Cultivate Wealth. And it walks through the journey of how to save, taxes, healthcare, the things you're thinking about as you're walking your journey to and through retirement. If you'd rather watch something, I'm an executive producer on a movie documentary titled Psychology of Retirement. Reach out to us, connect with us. We'd be happy to get you that in your hands so that you can watch that documentary. Also, if you go to our website at wealthmichigan.com, upcoming events has any educational series we have coming up. You might be turning 65 and want what's called our Medicare Toolkit. It goes through the ABCs of Medicare. We can get that in your hands. It could just be one of our social events to ask some Q&A of other customers, clients, and some of our team here at the office, or even downloading some of our resources that have to do with, are you on the right track for retirement? What about Social Security and how and when to draw? Taxes, they're a major resource inside of your retirement portfolio. Long-term care, amongst many more. So reach out, connect with us, and we'd be happy to get those in your hands. So if you're not sure or wondering, am I on the right track? What should I be doing next? There's no cost to come in and have a review of that. Sometimes you might already be working with an advisor, broker, someone helping you in your accounts. It's no different than falling and breaking your arm and needing to go get an x-ray. Let's take a look, walk through that together. Things have to be adjusted more so than ever. Now is a very much so a time. Make sure you're in front of your advisor and the people helping you in your accounts. Adjustments need to be made, and education is key to continue on the right track. When someone comes to the first visit, they can bring as much information as they'd like. Generally speaking, we're asking for you to bring tax statements for the last couple of years, bank and investment account statements, if you have any life insurance or annuities, current healthcare documents, banking documents you might have had from some tax reporting, anything that you feel is pertinent to your journey here. Maybe it's even current doctors you're seeing, prescription medications, but we really want to take a look at current income. If you already do a budget or expense plan, much like a gentleman we met with earlier today, bring that with you. You can bring your laptop, bring your tablet, sign in. We can walk through all that together to really compile things in one nice area to take a good thorough look at, are you too heavily weighted in any one area? Or are there gaps that we can walk through and explore together? So if you're already retired, the retirement roadmap is probably more key. Are you following the rule of 100? Are you reducing market risk in your retirement years? Where should more income be drawn from than from other? It is time with what we're seeing right now with current market trends to do some Roth conversions or some outside tax planning. And then have you factored in long-term care lately or done a review of some of that asset lineup along with what you're doing for your health and Medicare plan? So if you're retired, probably even more pertinent to make sure that you're on the right track. In these years, we're actually utilizing the funds. A big change if you're single, divorced, or remarried is number one, you just got a huge tax increase. So your tax table, single tax table makes your tax rate increase. When you're married, even filing jointly or single widowed or divorced, you move to just one Social Security payment. So you do have to pay more in taxes on a reduced income. So how are we actually looking at accounts, withdrawal strategies, longevity? Do you have enough? Are you going to be okay? And what type of adjustments must be made to instill that you're on the right track? A lot of times if we're trying to align goals in household, the one question that we ask almost immediately in every visit is how do we walk alongside you to meet your goals, what matters to you, and what makes you really just possibly feel inspirational and have true clarity to what your why is in inspiring you. Every time a roadmap is like a car driving down the road, right? There's new bumps in the road. There might be construction here and there. There's turns. It's not just a straight path. So the best way to explain it is we're going to walk alongside it together. Things will change. You might move. Your health will change. The family dynamics will change and adjust. We want to be there alongside that for every moment along the way to help you adjust, let you know it's coming, and make those instrumental and timely changes. Someone should review their plan at least yearly. And if there's adjustments to be made and you're seeing a lot of headline news about updates, then generally speaking, we want to make other adjustments during that time frame. Stay plugged in. We'd like you to be part of our newsletters, inspirational news feeds, updates. So at least a review once annually, but a couple times a year for some adjustments or checkpoints to make sure that everything's still looking okay. I think the first move is to make sure, are you aware of what you've set up in the past? Do you know what you have for healthcare? Where are all your bank funds at? What type of investments are you investing in? If you're unsure, now is the time to have us sit across the table from you, help you walk alongside you. Where do you gain this information? And how do we know that you're along the lines of saving in the right way, in a proper manner that's going to work for you and your family? I think it's so important to have these type of conversations because at some point in time, you're going to utilize these benefits. You're going to use these dollars. You're going to use the healthcare. And at some point, we're not going to be on earth forever. So we need to make sure that for our loved ones and what we've worked so hard to accomplish, that folks actually realize and know where do they go, how to fund this information. Have I been named beneficiaries? Do my household know my wishes and my needs? And so I think it's so imperative. Not always a fun things to talk about. We, of course, love this, but it's really important to walk alongside, make sure people know where these account documents are held, and to just do these check-ins, maybe right around tax time, so you can just have it out of the way for the year. If you have questions about your own roadmap, then drop them into the pinned post on our Facebook page. We'll answer your upcoming questions in the next episode. Until next time, stay focused and keep leading with purpose.